welcome. Good to see you. Good to be here. It's a beautiful Saturday morning-ish. It's just afternoon, actually. Um, but I hadn't made a video in a while, and so I wanted to come on and uh, talk a little bit about starting somewhere, getting started. Because I've done that, I've gotten started, uh, but there's been some things I've learned through that I think could potentially be helpful. And especially if you don't know who I am and why I'm here, what my YouTube video and channel is about. My name is Trina, and I am a certified master life coach through Transformation Academy. So I style myself as a self-development coach because I have life coach, life purpose, happiness, and goal setting training and for certifications. And the goal setting and purpose, things like that are the parts of that really make me tick. And I've been a self-development junkie, reading self-development books. I love to take the assessments. I worked in the corporate world for 20 years, and when they have those kind of trainings, I'm always the first person to say, sign up. I love to do this. I love to learn more about myself and other people, what makes people tick. My day job is kind of about customer profiling. You know, it's anticipating behaviors and understanding people and what they do and why they do it. So that's part of my training. And I'm also a PBT certified coach. And PBT is post-betrayal transformation. And I'm a coach in the PBT Institute private community. If you're interested in that, I will put a link in the comments to a quiz that you can take to see if you have post-betrayal syndrome, and to the front page of the community in case you want to sign up, where you could get coaching from Dr. Debbie Silber, who is the founder, and also from other coaches like me. Like Dr. Debbie is the betrayal recovery specialist, and the rest of us have our own specialties, but under the umbrella of post-betrayal transformation. So, and I've talked about that in some of my other videos, but if you have questions or would like to suggest a topic, feel free to leave a comment and let me know that. So I think this is my 7th video I'm making, and partly I'm using the content that I make for classes in the community because I teach a 30-minute weekly class that is part of my responsibility as a coach in the community. And I'm also available for one-on-one coaching in the community. And if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, of course, hit me up. But that community is a really great place to get support from other people who are going through similar things. And it doesn't, I mean, when you hear betrayal, you probably think romantic betrayal, but it doesn't have to be romantic betrayal. It could be family betrayal. It could be workplace betrayal. It could be, something really, from when you were a child. And some people are therapists, but it's not intended to be a therapy community. It's intended to be more of a coaching community, transformation community, moving you forward, right? So that's why my topic for today is kind of start somewhere. be willing to start. So, sometimes, because especially in the wake of a betrayal, we may feel like we just, how do I move forward? I can't go on. I don't know how to move forward. I don't know how to go on. Sometimes a betrayal affects every area of your life. I've had betrayals, that affected where I lived. I've had betrayals that affected the job I've had betrayals that required me to travel frequently to deal with the outfall of that. I've had betrayals that devastated me financially. Um, I've like betrayal can affect a lot of different areas of your life, and that can be very disheartening. And so, what I want to do today is kind of give you some hope and some tools for taking a little step forward towards what could be your transformation. Because, yeah, I have had, close to 30 years or more, depending on, where you want to start, of betrayals in my life. It's some pretty serious ones. um, and like there's been periods of my life where I thought that I was past that. I thought I had healed from that. I thought I was recovered from that. I was resilient as heck. And an example that Dr. Debbie uses, kind of the difference between resilience and transformation, is, resilience is like when a boiler, goes out in your house. I don't have a boiler. I have like a hot water heater goes out. Your dishwasher goes out, and you replace it. You fix it, and you go back to functioning, right? So that's being resilient. It's like kind of just muddling through and keep going and surviving and surviving and surviving, right? And that may seem and look on the surface like you got past the thing. And then there's transformation, which is like, either some circumstances came through, like a tornado. Apologies to anybody who's had their house wiped out by a tornado. But something comes through like that, levels the whole entire house. You can't just put in a new dishwasher or a new hot water heater and keep going with that, right? You have to start from scratch, and you have to rebuild. And now it could be that something else came through, or it could be that you chose, this is not working for me anymore. I'm going to take a bulldozer to that house and level it, because there's 90% of what's there doesn't work for me anymore. So I'm just going to wipe the whole thing out, and I'm going to rebuild from the ground up, and I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to draw my own blueprints this time, and I'm going to have something bigger, better, specifically designed for me. And that's what transformation is. And that's what the PBT Institute is designed to do. And that's what I want to help people do. Not just bounce back, but bounce higher and go farther and really be your best self. And maybe the catalyst was something that really, really sucked. But some of those things are, you don't have to look very far or very hard to find examples of people who basically, shot to the moon after getting a face full of dirt. So it's possible. And that's what I'm trying to do. And that's what I want for the rest of you. So where do you start with that? How do you even get started, right? How do you, when you feel like you can't get up, you can't get out of bed, what do you do? And so really, I'm kind of talking about overcoming inaction. And there is, I am kind of a geek. I loved math and science classes in school, and my day job is doing a lot of math, among other things. So most of us are familiar maybe with, I think it's Newton's first law of motion, that is, a body at rest will stay at rest, and a body in motion will stay in motion unless acted on by an outside force. So if you're at rest and you need to get into motion, you may need something that's an outside force to get you moving. That could be making plans with friends, that could be going to a support group, that could be getting a new hobby. Think about what that could be for you. And similarly, along the same lines in chemistry, there's what's called like reaction energy, I think, or activation energy. Sorry, activation energy. I do have notes, but I'm already like way off from them. So just bear with me because I'm just starting somewhere, right? The activation energy is, the like catalyst energy that takes, sometimes it takes a lot more energy to get a chemical reaction started. And once that chemical reaction has started, it doesn't take anywhere near as much. Maybe I should do it this way. Can't tell if this is mirrored or not, but you need a lot of energy to get it started, and you don't need near as much energy to keep the chemical reaction sustained once it's going. So just getting started is the key as far as I'm concerned. So, and that's one reason, like, I'm always doing stuff. Like, I have a pretty full calendar. I also, if you go back to my video that I did about strengths, like one of my strengths is learning. I love to learn, so I thrive off of learning new things. So I'm always looking for new things to learn, new things to do. And but I also understand this principle that, and I take rest. Rest is a very, very important to me also. But aside from the much needed rest and downtime and alone time and all that I need, I also understand that I need things on my calendar, like to keep me going. I need to keep moving forward. So one of the ideas is a 5-second rule, which is not when you drop something on the floor, you have 5 seconds to pick it up and eat it. That could be true. We could, you can use that one. I'm not outlawing that one if it works. But this 5-second rule is based on the fact that your brain is wired to avoid risks. Like, we've all heard so much the past however many months about how our cortisol is high and how fight or flight response, our amygdala, like, if you don't know about that, Google it. But I'm kind of sick of hearing about it because I'm like, yeah, I get it. My brain is anxious, like, and part of that is that our brains are wired to try to keep us safe. Our brains do some messed up stuff and make some messed up decisions, and it's all in an effort to keep us safe. Like, give yourself some self-compassion and recognize that is the primary purpose of all of those things. And if you can kind of hack that, it can really help. But that means that our brains are very resistant to change. They don't like it. They see change as potential danger. And sometimes change could be dangerous. And oftentimes it's not. But our brain doesn't know that. So if we think about something we want to do and don't take any action, within 5 seconds, our brain will start trying to talk us out of it. It'll start trying to think us out of it. And so the 5-second rule is that when you think of something that you want to do or you need to do, if you walk by the sink and it's full of dishes and you need your dishes, do something right then within 5 seconds. Don't, because if you say, oh, I'll do it in 30 minutes, like, by then your brain is going to have thought you out of it. So do something within 5 seconds. That something may be only washing one dish, or literally one of the examples I give is just stand up. Like, when you think, oh, I need to be working out, I should go mow the lawn, like whatever, like literally just stand up. Like, that's an action. And that signals to your brain that when I think about doing something, I might actually go do it. And it would be safe for me to go do it. So option is literally just to stand up. Um, and um, a key here, a trick for this is to start counting down. Don't count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to give yourself time to do it, because you could just keep counting for days and days and days, right? Like that there, when I count to 5, it doesn't signal that there's any kind of end. Now, when my kids were little and I started to count to 3, and they knew what 3 meant, right? Um, but a better option is to count down, because that signals to your brain that there is a deadline. So that will um, help spur you into action if you um, do that. So don't think about it like just do something. And also, counting distracts your mind. Like I said, it will start trying to like come up with excuses and stuff. But once you introduce counting, that changes things. And it's a good hack to use if you are anxious, if you're in a like work situation and you're feeling emotional and you don't want to cry. Um, I've been given the tip numerous times, like do math in your head, and that um, forces you out of that emotional side of things. I've had better or worse luck. I mean, the key for me is kind of to remember to do these things. And so um, in practice is, how we get that to be more of a habit. Hopefully you're not having too many situations that make you want to cry. Um, but remembering that tip, Trina said, do math in your head. um, and try to remember what's 8 times 8, because I have trouble with that one historically. So, but now I'm at a point maybe where I've done that one so much that it's a little bit easier. But even just counting can be helpful, because it signals more, from emotion into logic, like switches your brain's gears. And another thing is the immediate action strategy. So it's very similar, but just like the first time you think about doing something, like I said, that example of walking by the sink and there's dishes in there that you need to wash, like just take care of it now. Then you don't have to keep thinking. Like, how many times have we done that where it's like, oh, I need to do that thing, I'll do it later, and you just like keep beating yourself up about it all day, and you keep thinking about it all day because you still haven't done it. And so if you just actually just go and do it. And the thing about these things is that typically a lot of the stuff that we're procrastinating and putting off do not take near as long to actually do as our that thing in our brain builds it up to be something much more than it's going to be. And if you actually time yourself, it's like, wow, that didn't take all day. That didn't take very long at all. I had time to do that, and I got it done. When you get something done, give yourself props for that. Even if it's the tiniest thing, even if it's standing up, even if it's just going from lying down or sitting down to standing up, if that's all that you're capable of, then give yourself props when you've done it. Another way to kind of spur yourself into action is to compare like the pleasure and the pain. If we're staying in a painful situation, it's either because we get something out of that painful situation. So there is some kind of, it may be a painful situation, but there's some kind of pleasure involved with it. Like maybe we get to be right, maybe we get to be a victim, which is, doesn't sound like a good thing, but sometimes it's a pattern that we're in and it feels like home to us. But maybe it's easier because it doesn't require change, right? And maybe what the change is, or the action that you want to take, looks like it would be more painful. Maybe it's going to cost money. Maybe you have to admit you were wrong. Maybe you have to, redefine who you are, or whatever the case may be, to move forward. Um, so you have to make the change, the action, the thing you want to do or be, have a greater pleasure, and the old thing have more pain to spur you out of that. So it can be helpful just to make a chart of, you know, what are the pleasures I get, what are the benefits that I get from staying stuck? What are the painful things about staying stuck? What are the benefits and pleasures I will get from moving, taking action? What are the painful things that would about taking action? And if you can, like, it may start out like this, but keep looking for be really honest with yourself about the painful things of staying, and the pleasurable things about making that change. And doing that exercise may help you figure out that you don't want to make the change, or do the thing. But if it is something you really want to do, find a way to make not doing it suck, and a way to make doing it the fun, choice. And there are ways to do that. And if you need help with that exercise, feel free to reach out to me for help. But basically, we're talking about what are the consequences of inaction and what are the rewards of action. So that is, those are my primary points about that. And I just want to reassure you and try to, light a fire under your backside to start somewhere. Because, I was thinking about this in the context of me like starting this YouTube channel. I did my first video was a Facebook Live video that I then, when it was recorded, uploaded to YouTube. Other ones I've made using other formats. I don't have the best camera. I don't have a fancy microphone. I do have a ring light, if you can see the reflection in my glasses. I don't have, my face made up professionally. I'm just, this is the same t-shirt I wore yesterday, like, quite frankly. But, I had to start somewhere. And if I waited until I was going to do it perfectly, I would never do it. So I'm willing to put a less than perfect video out there to be who I really am right now, with the confidence that they will get better, that my speech patterns will get better as I get used to talking to myself on a camera, that my I will upgrade to a better computer or camera in the future. I will learn how to put the little YouTube cards on at the beginning and end and things. I've been working on a kind of intro image to put up, and to try to make it inviting, and and to use for thumbnail, but I haven't finished that yet. But this morning I said I don't want to wait to finish that until I make another video. I'm going to go ahead and make a video, and I'm going to talk about just getting started. And it's okay for what you do and the output and the result to not be perfect. It's okay to be iterative and to have a 0.0 version and to have a 1.0 version and a 2.0 version, and make progress towards what it is that you really want to do. And maybe somewhere along the line you decide that having a YouTube video channel is not what you want to do. Maybe you want to do something else, and it's okay to cut that and like find a different option or different outlet. For me right now, this is one that I'm enjoying doing, but I know I'll have a lot of room to grow within the channel making skill set. So, but I enjoy learning, and right now I haven't gone through a lot of the videos that, there's a lot of, it's, the internet, there's so many resources that tell you how to do a thing. And I haven't gone through very many of those. I've gone through a few. But my time is kind of precious, and some of it is carefully guarded, that I, have some non-negotiables, that then a certain amount of rest that I need and things like that. So I'm not going to stay up all night editing YouTube videos. I'm going to give you the YouTube video uncut right now, and maybe later I will learn about editing videos and I'll do more of that. But right now, I just want to share something, and I just want to start somewhere. So that's what I'm doing. And it's an exercise in practicing what I preach. And the community that I'm coaching in is full of wonderful people. And I would love to tell you more about it if you're interested. And I've talked about it on other videos. And especially in the context of, having been betrayed. I'm sorry that has happened to you. If that's why you're watching this video, if you're just watching this video because you want to learn about self-development and starting somewhere, then I am glad that you are here to do that. Most of us have had some kind of betrayal. And I hope this helps. And if it doesn't, feel free to leave a comment, but also, like, maybe you're not my target audience if you don't find anything here that helps. But I appreciate your kindness in either regard. And if you would like to, subscribe, share, etc., I would be eternally grateful, especially with the current state of my videos, when nothing special. The video quality, all that kind of stuff. But I think the content is potentially helpful and could be life-changing to the right person in the right context. So that'll wrap it up for today. I hope that you have a wonderful day, weekend. As one of my fellow coaches says, however they measure time on your planet. I won't steal that from him. I'll only use it this once, but I do like it. So best wishes. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.